I talk about that Tank Davis fight, I fucking hate boxing.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
I fucking hate boxing.
He said, go ahead. Tell what happened.
So I really have a bit of an issue. I held off on talking about this because I wanted to talk to you about this live. Not live. We're not live. But that Tank Davis fight from last night, I have no words at all for the amount of disappointment that I have in boxing. Boxing will never in a million years, ever, compete with MMA. Ever. Never, never, never. It's not a conversation. Nobody can talk to me about it. As a boxing fan and a continued boxing fan, you have to be kind of like a battered spouse that just keeps on telling yourself that he's not going to hit you again.
Yeah, it's like taking a Jets fan to the extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, because you just keep on building yourself up for something decent, and then you're just hit with failure over and over. If you didn't see the fight, this guy, Tank Davis, takes a knee halfway through the fight, which fine. Sometimes you got to take a knee. If you get cracked, if you get hit, if you're hurt, if you're tired, that's a knockdown. Knee touched the canvas. Knockdown, right?
Yeah. They started counting.
Did he?
He counts like 2, and then he was like, no, I'm just like, and he goes to and wipes his face. He comes back.
And you're also not allowed to run to the corner to wipe your face. There's a reason why. If there's a knockdown, if there's some kind of discrepancy, you go to a neutral corner. That's the whole reason, so that you can't get extra coaching. You can't have somebody wipe you down. They can't put some Vaseline on you real quick. No. You're in the middle of the round. You decided to take a knee, and it was not ruled a knockdown.
It should have been.
Absolutely. So
you couldn't fight anymore. You had to stop.
Yes, you had to stop. So I always allow myself to get baited into this idea that a boxing match is going to be good, that it's going to be fair, that it's not going to be corrupt, or some kind of weird shit is going to happen. I should have bet on a draw last night. And mind you, I'm not upset because I lost money. I didn't bet last night. So this is completely this is like real genuine feelings on this fight. He takes a knee. They don't call it a knockdown. The fight ends up ending in a draw. A draw. If I told you how many boxing matches were built up to be this huge thing, it ends up being a draw or some shit, or ends up being, a no contest or something. That's the most disappointing outcome.
It is.
I'm not disappointed if somebody gets knocked out. Even if the fighter I want to win gets knocked out, I'm not disappointed in the same way that I'm disappointed when it ends up being some kind of nonsense like
Facts,
this.
Yeah.
If my fighter loses, the guy, it happens. That's the sport. But if there's some nonsense like an eye poke or something, or there's if this is MMA, it's disappointing. But in boxing, it happens so often. He takes a knee, and then after the fight, after it gets called a draw, they interview him, and he says that he just got his hair twisted up a couple days ago, and that grease was running in his eye.
I feel like the braid grease thing is overplayed at this point.
Bro, is this real life? Is this real life? You got your hair braided 2 days before, decided to let the lady or whoever braided your hair grease up your scalp, and then it's running into your eyes. I wouldn't doubt that. I'm not saying that's not true.
That's a real thing. He's not the first person to say that.
Yeah, exactly. It's been said before, and it does make sense, because even sweat itself obstructs your vision and really just gives you issues. So fine, but it was a punch. If you look at the replay, there's a glancing punch that hits him. So it's a glove hitting his eye. It's a punch. Whether it was straight on or not, sometimes those glancing strikes are what cause cuts. A lot of times with those big gloves on it, the cuts are not from direct impact. They're usually some kind of hard punch that slices across your face. That's how boxers oftentimes get cut, along with headbutts, but from strikes. And that shit, he got hit in the eye. And then he couldn't really see, so he takes a knee. That is a knockdown.
Yeah.
Fucking hate boxing.
And then it went to a draw.
Bro.
That draw thing was the one that threw me off.
Dude, it was a draw. If that knockdown counts, Tank loses the fight.
Is that the way? Was Tank winning the fight? Was it supposed to be a draw?
It would have been a split decision with the knockdown. So somebody had Tank winning. So it wasn't a one-sided fight. But for him to... it's the sport that I'm upset with. I'm not upset that he took a knee. That's not what I'm upset about. I don't care that he took a knee. That's part, if he's hurt or he's hit, that's a knockdown. That's why taking a knee or your glove touching the canvas, those are knockdowns. But, for the sport itself, for the ref to not call it a knockdown and for the judges to end up scoring it a draw, to me, I'm like, there's no way this is not an intentional attempt to make a rematch, because immediately they're like, would you take the rematch? And they're both like, yeah, we can run it back. So there you go. Now you're either trying to plan a rematch or you're trying to protect Tank.
Well, he needs to keep his career going in the right direction. And boxing's too corrupt. But let me ask you a different question. Do you think that we need to give more time, like post fights, to because I think that there's like this cram right after the fight where they need the referee, where they need the judges to make the determination of who won and who didn't win. Like, if you look at the Henry Cejudo eye poke from 2 weeks ago or a week ago, he got poked in the eye, and now the ref is coming back and saying, yeah, maybe I should have taken a point.
So you think that there should be like a cushion after the fight to allow for changes?
To allow for people to actually take time and, like, look into this appropriately. Let's figure out what happened and make, like, an appropriate decision.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like, not announce the winner?
Not immediately. Dude, it's so fast. There's no way they get more than, like, a minute to make that. Like, they're still probably grading the last round, And the fight's over. Like, the fight is over, and then within, like, minutes, we know who won.
I guess you're right. Maybe a little bit of a review.
Just give it a second. Like, let's, like, especially when something controversial happens.
See, but I think that at that point, maybe they're limiting the time to avoid you being influenced. Let's say somebody else is like, man, you start hearing people talk about who won. Maybe you change the score on the last round or something. You're like, damn, maybe I missed something.
Keep these fuckers in the box. You know what I'm saying? Silent box. And separate.
Aren't they sitting? Together? Yeah, they're sitting at ringside, I think.
Together, though?
I don't know. Are they side by side?
I thought that they were at different points in the ring. Like, they were like, they moved them around. They shouldn't be sitting together. That's for fucking sure. I don't want these guys cheating off of each other.
Yeah, they shouldn't. It's human nature. I
don't want them sharing notes.
So maybe, but I guess you want them to all have the same vantage point to the ring, right? Because now if you start having them on different sides of the ring, your scorecards are going to be crazy. Scorecards are going to be insane. They're not even going to be close. This has got to be the closest way we could get it.
Well, maybe they got monitors.
Yeah, I think they do have monitors similar to announcers. Like, they can see it up close, and they can see what we see at home. I think it's fed through a monitor for them.
Yeah, so that's why I think that we could figure it out. They can't be sitting next to each other.
Either way, they can't
be 2 chairs away.
Yeah.
Every other chair, it's test day.
All right, so something's got to happen.
Yeah.
Because we can't be having this shit anymore. Boxing is so fucking corrupt. You can't. That's it. It's corruption. I'm convinced. I'm saying it here like, this doesn't happen. This kind of thing does not happen. That they get the rules wrong so often. The rules.
Well, why can't they just fix it? What's the rule against being like, wait a second, hold on. You referee, you fucked up. You should have taken a point. Yo, you should have done that. That was ruled a knockdown. You lose a point. Why not?
Because I think and I agree, there's no sensible reason for how that happens unless this is all agreed upon beforehand.
It's like, it's not like when, I think it's tough because if I grab the cage and then I make it through the round, you can't come back and maybe you lose a point.
Yeah, you lose a point, or at least in MMA, I feel like they have so much more discretion. They're allowed to do more. Like, you could start the round and be like, oh, I missed that fence grab. Now you lose position. Lay on your back. Get them top side control. Like, hey, they'll take away a position. They'll do things. There's nothing like that you could do in boxing. Like, what are you going to do in boxing? Like, now you got to put your hands down. You got to start this round with your hands down.
Yeah, you start this round with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, there's no way to make it even. They don't have enough... they don't have enough options to make up for that.
Fight softball.
Yeah. Right? One glove.
Yeah.
One glove, we'll call a timeout, put the other one on. Like, it's almost like a penalty. Like a
Not only
penalty
that,
box.
dude, the amount of grease, when they be greasing these puppies' eyebrows up, dude, dude, the amount of grease that they put on these boxers, they come out of there shining.
Yeah,
dude.
like they got a hot oil massage.
It's
and then
crazy.
It's on the gloves, it's on everything. Guys get hit, you see the blob fly off.
Yes. They're literally just pasting it on there.
Yeah, yes, 100%. But anyway.